it's Marina Girgis, and this is Seen, Known, Paid, the podcast where I share secrets of building your true to self personal brand and the essential mindset shift that will help you feel lit up about your business, attract dream clients, and live life on your own terms without selling your soul to the social media algorithm or following corporate marketing BS. If you've been here for a while, listening to my podcast, you're probably noticing that things have shifted and I've done a little brand refresh. Woo! But if you're new here, welcome. I'm happy to have you. So let's get into today's episode. Friend, we need to talk. We need to talk about how you've evolved past your current brand, and it shows. The person you were 4 years ago or however many years ago when you started your business is not the same person today. Yet, I see you doing it. Yet, I see you showing up in your brand messaging, your content, your offers, your business model in the same way. And it really needs to change. So let's get into it today because I'm going to be sharing with you the 3 signs that tell you it's time to evolve past your current brand to reflect the growth you've had so far. But before we dive into those 3 signs and what you can do to navigate this change, I want to share with you a personal story that actually sparked this podcast episode for me. I was recently invited to speak on a panel in Atlanta, and in that panel, someone asked, how long have you been doing what you're doing on social media before you felt like this brand that you have reflects who you are? And I was like, wait a second, this is an amazing question. How often do people ask us if we feel like the brand we have right now actually reflects who we are as business owners? Because oftentimes what we've heard from all the content bro marketing gurus out there, that it's not about you. It's just about the problem that you solve and the clients that you're speaking to. And I beg to differ because I think it has so much to do with you because you are the person running your business. So when she asked me that question, it took me a minute and I started to reflect on, is this brand that I have right now reflective of my growth and the journey I've had so far? And my answer was that it took me 5 years to feel like this brand fits. And it will probably keep evolving as I continue to grow because we're ever evolving, ever growing as human beings. But we don't tend to think that our business could reflect that because we separate our business and our brands from who we are as human beings. And that disconnect will always show up. It will show up in your messaging. It will show up in your content. It will show up in the way you speak, in the way you introduce yourself. And that creates a disconnect for you, but also the people receiving it on the other end, your audience, and more importantly, the client that you want to bring and invite into your business. So I told her that I have consistently over the past 5 years have evolved my brands and shifted my messaging and who I'm talking to as I grew. And currently it just finally feels like I've actually stepped into my full power. So sometimes it does take that length of time between year 3 and year 5 in business. You'll start to feel this shift because you've really mastered what you're talking about. You've really become an expert. Even though you were an expert before you started, you really become an expert in your zone of genius, the thing that you keep talking about in your business. So you'll find that the nuances are coming through, but you're not incorporating them. But this is where I invite you to create some changes. Okay, and these changes will help you because I often see people, business owners specifically, showing up in the same way for years, holding them back from their next level growth, which you know is available to you, aligned clients, the time freedom that you want, and more purpose. Yeah, purpose. Purpose is so important. It is the driving force when you feel like what you do and how you show up has purpose, creates impact. You can't help but show up, even when you don't feel like it. Okay, so let's actually talk about the 3 signs you've evolved past your current brand and you need a brand rebirth ASAP. Reason number 1, you feel like you're way bigger than the content and the message you've been putting out on social media. This is a messaging problem. Okay, but let me give you something straight, because some of y'all need to hear this. And you know how I roll, I give it to you straight. If you're not resonating with your message, your audience isn't either. I know, so simple. But if you're not resonating with your message, your audience isn't either. So let that sink in. This disconnect prevents you from attracting the right people to your brand through your content. And the reason you feel like you're bigger than your message is because, like I said earlier, you've evolved as a human being. You grew, you have new skills, you've worked with this many clients, and there's a lot of nuance that you're not bringing into your business and your messaging. So you just feel like, oh, I'm not just a money coach. I'm not just a mindset coach. I'm not just a personal brand coach. There's so many layers. You're like an onion with many layers. But none of these layers are reflected in your messaging because you're using what you've used 4 years ago when you started. So you feel like your expression is stifled. And because it's safer to keep doing the same thing over and over again because it worked in the past, but let me tell you, it's not working right now. And I know this from current clients that I'm coaching, that it's not, because she's unable to fully express herself. And the result is you're not bringing in your dream clients. And what happens? Your income suffers. And that's the worst thing, because we need this money coming in so that we can keep our business going. It feels really hard to speak right now, to be honest, because I'm in Texas and the allergies are getting to me. If you know, you know, I've been living in Greece for a while, so I haven't struggled with this. So I feel very stuffy. So please excuse the stuffy sound. All right, reason number 2. You feel restricted by your current business and you don't feel lit up by your content. Friend, this is an integration problem. So you've had the growth, you've had the evolution, but you're like, wait a second, how does this now reflect in my business model, in my offers, in my messaging, and in my content? So you're no longer excited to show up like you once were. Let's say 2 years ago, when you were on fire on social media and we could all feel it. Again, it's very easy to feel when someone is so excited about what is it that they're talking about, because they're connected to it. So each day feels like the same routine for you. You're losing sense of your bigger purpose. You're questioning why you're doing what you're doing. And you've even contemplated a social media break. Or you've gone on a social media break. Let's call it a hiatus, because you never came back from that break. It was 9 months ago. It was 12 months ago. And you're like, Marina, how the heck do I come back on social media? I don't know what to share. You feel so close on the edge of burnout. You feel like there's something that actually, I love saying this, and my clients will make fun of me for saying this. You are on the precipice of change. You're like on the edge of something big, but you don't know what is it or what's the missing link. You keep thinking about it, and now you're wasting time thinking about it, right? Okay, let's all take a breather here, because I feel like so worked up about this because I've been there. I actually took I didn't go completely off of social media, because I do actually enjoy creating content, and because I travel a lot, I'm always inspired. I meet a lot of people. I get inspired by my clients. But basically, I felt like nothing I was putting out there was actually sparking the same joy that it once did. And I was so attached to a certain way of showing up. I think that's what it was. I was actually growing, and I had new interests and learning new things about who I am. But because I was scared that if I shared that it will scare some people off, it will scare some people away, or people will question if I know my brand anymore, and how can I be the brand expert if I'm unsure. And I was so wrapped up in my own ego, which all of us are there sometimes, right? And that stops us from actually going to that next level that we know we want and are capable of. So if you're if you're on the what is going on? If you are on the precipice of that change, just know that you can actually jump to the other side of it. Okay? You can. I believe in you. All right, so reason number 3. This one is really funny. Suddenly, out of nowhere, you're like, whoa, I have no idea what to share in my content. Even worse, when someone asks you what you do, you're all confused about how to express what is it that you do, what your business does, what your title is, and you're like, I don't know. Yeah, that one is painful, because I've experienced that one myself and heard from my clients that they've been there. And it's one of the worst ones because, again, it hits our ego hard, especially if you are a brand strategist, you're a coach, you're a business coach, and this is your forte. This is what you help people with. And you're like, how come can I not do this anymore for myself? Listen, it's just the change you're going through. And this is a clarity problem. Because you are no longer connected to the old ways you've been showing up, or the old business model and the offers and what you've been doing in the last few years, you feel like you don't even understand yourself. So this requires you to go on a lot of self-exploration and a lot of journaling and a lot of understanding what you stand for right now, your positioning in branding. Because the way you've positioned yourself in the past no longer fits your new identity. So now you're struggling to connect what you've become over the years with the brand you've maintained for years. All right, I want to tell you this. It's really important. Just because it worked in the past doesn't mean that you need to stick with it now. Just because it worked in the past doesn't mean you need to stick with it now. Okay? This is your permission slip to allow your personal brand evolution to become your brand revolution. You're allowed to change. You're allowed to bring in new aspects of yourself into your brand. You're allowed to no longer offer what you've always offered. This is why I believe in the power of building a personal brand. In the power of building a personal brand around who you are, rather than a business around what you offer. This is the new freedom for business owners. Okay? And listen, if this episode made you feel seen, called out, with love, I hope, I invite you to join me at one of my international retreats offered in Mexico and Greece. These retreats are created as a place for you to finally take the intentional time and space needed to make your personal evolution your own brand revolution, to help you birth this new identity that has been brewing inside of you, to help you translate your growth into a brand that feels like you, from the strategy, the messaging, the visual identity, even to your wardrobe. Because yes, my friends, I am bringing on one of my incredible stylist friends to give you all a session on how to connect your personal style, which is a big part of your personal brand, to your personality and to your brand evolution, so that you're effortlessly always on brand. Click the link in my description To learn about the dates and where we're going and all the details of what's included in these retreats, they are luxury retreats, you're going to love them, and then go and fill out an application to see if we are a good fit for this experience together. Our Greece retreat is almost sold out, okay? Almost sold out. So if you want to go to Greece, this is your chance. So don't sleep on this opportunity. Go click now and apply. And until then, stay vivacious. Bye.